Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Friday morning and the best day of the week. Surely we've got some good news coming our way as Man United fans. We're desperate for good news because, we're just sitting there watching every other club, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, making all these moves on the transfer window, signing players like it's nothing. And Man United are still stuck on one transfer. Throughout the whole transfer window, we've been stuck with one player and one transfer. You've got to remember, we already had done Matheus Cunha before the transfer window even opened. We already agreed terms with him. It was just a matter of getting it done over the line, and that's it. So the actual official transfer that we've started and still ongoing with is the Bryan Mbeumo deal. What the hell is going on? We're hearing Man United have deliberately delayed this. Then we're hearing Man United haven't got the money to actually pay and they don't want to pay up front. There's all sorts of rubbish going on, and Man United fans, of course, will be panicking, watching Man United on the transfer window doing absolutely nothing. And then on the other side, we've got all these other clubs making all sorts of improvements, and they don't even need improvements. They were top of the league. They were top, second, third or fourth or fifth. They're the ones making all the improvements. We finished in the bottom half of the league, and we still haven't brought any players to improve ourselves. Even basic players, even utility players. You can't even argue that we've done even that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. What are Ineos up to? In today's show, we're going to be giving you updates on transfers out and transfers in. What's going on with Marcus Rashford? What's going on with Jadon Sancho? What's going on with Anthony, who was off to Real Betis? What the hell is going on with our sales? Forget about bringing players in. We can't even manage to sell players. This is United at a complete and utter low. If you're not already a subscriber to the Man United stream channel, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the latest breaking news from Man United and keep up to date with all the transfer news and everything else from one single daily dose. Okay, so let's jump straight into today's show. We've got lots to cover, but let's kick off with breaking news to some degree, which is Marcus Rashford off to Barcelona could be on the table. We discussed this weeks ago that Marcus Rashford wanted to move to Barcelona. He, in fact, his agent, his team, his representatives had met with Barcelona some weeks ago, and there were some positive talks. Barcelona did say that they liked Marcus Rashford and he was on their shortlist, but they were also looking at other players like Diaz from Liverpool, other players as well. Nico Williams was the top of the list, but that fell through. And as soon as that fell through, of course, everybody else was then looking towards Diaz, Marcus Rashford and a few other options. And now, this week, Diaz has put his hat into the Bayern Munich camp. He's actually said to Liverpool that he wants to move to Bayern Munich. Not quite sure why and how, but that's what he wants. And it looks set that he's going to join Bayern. So Barcelona are stuck essentially with Marcus Rashford. I'm not saying that Marcus Rashford's not a good player and Barcelona don't really like him, but I think he was lower down in the pecking order. He wasn't on top of that shortlist. He was at least third or fourth, we're hearing, but it will be a dream move for Marcus Rashford and hopefully for Man United fans if we can sell Marcus Rashford. Now, Barcelona are not the team that are going to be throwing money around. We know that they haven't got the money. So I suspect Barcelona will be coming in for Marcus Rashford as a loan deal and covering some of his salary. Not all of his salary, some of his salary. Will Man United accept that though? It's such a great responsibility to have a player out on loan, not knowing, number one, what his performances will be like, not knowing how much game time he'll get, and what about a major injury? What if he gets a major injury whilst he's out there and United are shafted? They can't sell Marcus Rashford, they can't get any money out of it. So Man United, of course, would be pushing for that sale, that full sale for Barcelona to go and buy Marcus Rashford and cover his bloody salary, because we don't want to be covering his 300k salary per week, not even having the player at our disposal. It's an absolute joke, and this again goes back to the years of neglect on the transfers and negotiations by the Glazers and their representatives. And Ineos have come in and they've completely gone the other extreme. They want to completely pay peanuts for players and give them lower salaries and do nothing for them. But it's not that easy. You can't go from one extreme to the other extreme. But anyway, let's shelf that for a moment. We'll discuss that later on in the show. But that is the update for Marcus Rashford. Jadon Sancho, again, another huge problem case at United. United. He's not going to be playing at United. We don't want him at United. Nor does the management want him there. Fans don't want him there. Nobody at all wants Jadon Sancho at United. But Jadon Sancho wants to get his salary. He wants to be paid enough. He knows this is the last chance for him to make some kind of money. He's not a top player anymore. He was picked to be one of the best players in the world, but clearly didn't reach that potential, and he's been off. It's just been going down, and now Juventus want to buy him, want to take him on, but they don't want to pay his salary. But Sancho doesn't want to take a pay cut, so that is where we're at right now with Jadon Sancho. It looks like this is a scary thought, but it looks like Jadon Sancho might still be at United come end of the transfer window, and if that is the case, it is absolutely diabolical. We need to get rid of this guy, and we need to throw him anywhere possible. And even if it means that we have to cover some of his salary, just get him the hell out of United. Seriously. And then we've got Anthony. Anthony has done absolutely amazing at Real Betis this out on loan this season. Absolutely brilliant. But Real Betis is a club that really haven't got the funds, and their maximum payout for a player in transfers was about 20 million. That's the maximum they've ever paid for a player. Of course, Anthony's not worth 20 million. He's worth a lot more. And that's where the problem lies, because they're not willing to budge on their transfer record fee. So the question then is, will Real Betis buy him, or will another club come in last minute to buy Anthony? I think that's what Man United are hoping for. Man United know that they don't want to sell him to Real Betis or even loan him out again. They want to again recoup some of that money and take him off the books when it comes to salary. Anthony is one to watch. We're going to have to keep a close eye on it, because I think as we get closer to the deadline of the transfer window, Anthony is going to get picked on. He's going to get lots of other clubs jumping in trying to buy him. I won't even be surprised if Barcelona or someone else come in for him. Genuinely, I would not be surprised if other big clubs in La Liga or across Europe come in for Anthony, because he has proven himself to be useful. Even though he had a terrible time at United, he's shown that he's still got something to him, and going out to Real Betis was really beneficial for him. Now, on transfers coming in, oh yeah, by the way, Garnacho, again, no news on him. Looks like it's completely quiet. No transfer updates on Garnacho, which is worrying, because of course we want Garnacho out as well. Obviously, he threw his dummy out near the end of the season. Last season, when he obviously wasn't picked by Amrin, and he's just since then just gone off the rails, hasn't he? So we need him out as well. Malacia, again, there's no point really discussing Malacia. He's probably out. Makes no difference to us if he goes or doesn't go, because he's not going to really fetch a huge valuation and bring in lots of money for Man United to go and spend. Now, on transfers in, the biggest problem we last night heard, Nottingham Forest making signings, Brentford selling players. It was just absolutely crazy. It was like an hour or two of transfer news after transfer news after transfer news, but nothing involved Man United. It was gutting. As Man United fans, we're there waiting, watching all the live updates and checking everything, checking Twitter, checking other sources, and waiting for your text to come through from different people, agents and everything, but nothing. Nothing. It's all news about other players going to other clubs. We've had absolute nothing. Arsenal have obviously signed Menduke. We've got news on Brentford selling players. It's just absolutely ridiculous that Man United are the only club, it sounds like, that are not doing any business. They're stuck on Buemo, and they've not even got that over the line. This tells you how bad of a plan we've got in place right now. This surely was not part of the plan. No way could this be part of the plan. If this is part of the plan, this is ridiculous. If this is the plan, we need Ineos out if this is part of their plan, because it tells you Ineos are not going to be buying in players, not going to be looking to improve Man United anytime soon. They're planning to make a £2 billion stadium, but yet they can't even do a deal for Buemo, paying another £2 million extra. What is all this about? Now, we were told yesterday from some sources that this was all a part of Man United's plan to not pay his salary and delay the transfer and then get him in just before they start the pre-season. I don't believe that. Drop your comments below on what you think, why the delay has been for the Buemo deal. Look, We know Man United get their pants pulled down. It's been proven time and time again. Every player that Man United turn up for, they get their pants pulled down. Another 10 million it's added on. But that is the case for being Man United. Of course that is. Look, we're going to have to deal with that when we've got time. When we're on top of the footballing world and when you're doing well, you can then use that leverage and then go in there and play hardball and pay less for players. But right now everybody knows that United are not top. They know United are desperate to get to back to the top, and they haven't got any leverage. They haven't got any leverage at all. So when they're going in for players, teams know, clubs know, right, okay, we can charge this club extra because this is Man United. They're a big club and they're going to have to pay. Look, do I say it's good? No, it's not. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But we have to right now, beggars can't be choosers. We've got to go and do the business and get the players in, because if we don't get the players in and do not improve, we're going to be shafted for another season, and that is unacceptable. We need to start moving up in that league table and get into the Champions League spots, because if we don't, we're going to keep on going down, down and further down. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this Benmo deal. Why the hell do you think it has been delayed, if it has been delayed, and do you agree with it? And who else would you like to come into United? We are still missing a striker. A huge gaping hole at the front of the pitch. Højlund turned up for training the other day, and that's not a good sign either. Again, we're hoping that Højlund would get sold. Doesn't look like it. Zertsky's still there. We know he's not going to get sold, but we need a striker. This is not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. And I agree with lots of Man United fans out there who are now really upset with the way this whole transfer window has panned out. It's absolutely unacceptable, and it looks like we're running out of time, and it's going to be the classic last-ditch effort maybe to sign one or two players here and there and make it all out to be it was all good and it was all part of the plan. No way is this part of the plan. No way. I don't agree with that one bit. From some sources, I've heard that United thought that they'd get the business done early by bringing in Delap, bringing in Buemo, and that would have been it. Them were the two key targets that they were going to go and get in really early. But it happens to be that these two targets have completely destroyed the plan that they had. It's just unacceptable. Make sure you hit the like button on this video, guys. Make sure you subscribe. You watching the Man United Stream channel by the fans for the fans.